So good day everyone, this is Dinegers Ipilis. So now we will create a Java program in an array that find the duplicate values in an array. Like for example, we have, for example, in our input, like for example, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, and 1. So the possible output should be like for example, duplicate value found. We have in value 1, which is at index 0, 3, and 6. Then next naman is value 2 at index 1 and 2. So this will be our code that we will create now. So let's start our code. So kasi yung gagawin natin is find a duplicate, which is we will using a array. So we will first is we need to import an scanner muna, Java that util scanner. Don't forget the semicolon. So bakit nag-error yun? Kasi wala pa tayong ginawang scanner. Sige, let's remove muna this para maano tayo. So let's say gagawa muna tayo ng main class, which is main method. Tapos let's erase na this. So let's proceed muna. So first is we have our main method na, which is ito yun. And then pag naman, let's say first that we will gonna do is we will initialize the numbers of an array, which is we will put an int variable here, which is an array sign, which is itong close and open bracket. Then ilagay tayo ng numbers is equals to ito yung ilalagay natin. Let's copy muna this. Yun yung ilalagay natin dito. Tapos we need to put a semicolon in here. So these lines initialize an integer array called numbers with the specified values. So next naman gagawin natin is gagawa tayo ng scanner new is equals to new scanner system dot in. So yung semicolon natin. So we need to import na yung so dito na tayo mag-i-import ng scanner. We need to import java dot util dot scanner. Pansin na hindi na nag-error. And then we proceed to, so what is the purpose? Bakit tayo naglalagay ng scanner here? Which is, kanina scanner is, we need to put this because, so importing scanner, this line is para maano siya yung nag-allow sa users or allows us to read input from sa user. So we will discuss that and before this. So next naman natin gagawin is we need to something na starting in like for example infinite loop. So while gagawa tayo ng loop dito, which is while yung gagamitin natin true. Lagyan natin ng true, then curly braces. Then bakit tayo naglalagay ng true dito sa while loop natin? Because this line start an infinite loop that continues until the program is kanang explicitly terminated, which is we will prompt the user to enter a number para magkaroon ng duplicate yung enter niya and index like this value, like for example value 1 at index 0, 3 and 6. So we need to use this while loop para maggagana yung gagawin natin code, which is mag-prompt na tayo dito ng system.out print, let's say, okay, naglalagay lang tayo ng system.print, say, kalimutan natin yung quotation, double quotation, and here naman. So, ito yung lalabas sa console natin mamaya para gagamitin ng user para maka-enter tayo ng number to find, para yung number na hanapan natin ng duplicates, which is for example, or lalagay tayo ng or open and close parenthesis. Dito sa loob is lagyan natin na or type, which is -1 to exit. So pagkatapos is we need to put here, semicolon. Tapos so anong explain ko muna tong line na to. This reference prompt to the user asking them to enter. Mag-ask tayo na mag-enter ka ng number para kung ano yung gusto mong number na hanapan ng duplicate numbers or sa indexes natin. Dito na nag-ask ang ating ginawang program. So next naman natin gagawin is we need to have an reading users endpoint, which is gagawa din naman tayo ng int dito. Like for example, input number is equals to, like for example, scanner dot next int. Wag natin kalimutan yung int kasi int yung variable natin dito. Then we need to put semicolon here. Tapos why do we put this code? Para ma-read para this line kanang ito yung babasa sa users kung nag-input na ba using next int method of scanner class, and ito yung nag-stores in our, like for example, to input number variables. So ito yung gamit nito. Next naman is we need to dapat may mag-check if the user wants to exit. So kasi nag-start na tayo dito. So we need to if para pag gusto na mag-exit ng user is may option siya na ginawa natin. So like for example, input number, like for example, input number is equal to -1. Let's put open curly braces here, and then so kining a line is check if the user want to exit by typing -1. Like for example, let's run this para na hindi pa tumaran kasi hindi pa tapos ang ating code, which is dito naman is so dito is we need to break this loop na ginawa natin. So we need to input maglalagay tayo ng system.out.print ln natin. Tapos dapat yung nakalagay dito is gusto ko yung exiting the program, kasi yung kapag mag-enter tayo ng -1 is mag-exit na yung program. So lalagay natin dito is exiting the program, exiting the program. Tapos lalagay tayo ng break dito para mag-break na yung loop na ginawa natin, yung infinite loop, kasi true yung nilagay natin dito. Break na tayo. Tapos, bakit tayo naglalagay ng break dito? Kasi, if the user want to exit, this line print an exit message, which is ito yung ginawa ko, and break sa atong loop na ginawa, which is itong while loop na true using boolean. Using the break statement, ito yung break statement natin. So, next naman natin gagawin is, we need to call na yung duplicate value. We need to find an value in indexes na, which is, ito na yung gagawin natin. Gagamit na tayo ng call method, which is find indexes yung lalagay natin. Indexes, let's numbers, input number. Next naman natin gagawin is, so bakit tayo after the break is naglalagay tayo ng find indexes number input number, which is kapag ang user hindi sila gagamit, they don't want to exit, so pupunta sila dito, which is mag-find ng index, which is yung dito duplicate value count, ito value, like for example yung gusto nating hanapan na number at index din sa nakalagay. So ito yung purpose of this line, bakit tayo naglalagay ng ganyan. And then we need to close the scanner muna kasi tapos na tayo ito. Dapat that close. Tapos here naman is we need to put some, let's say magde-define naman tayo ng find indexes method, which is kasi tapos na tayo sa dito sa paraan para paano tayo mag-input, para tayo mag-enter a number then exit. So we will define a new method, which is find indexes method. Gagawa naman tayo dito ng, kasi nag-close na tayo sa ating scanner, gagawin tayo public static void find indexes na yung ilalagay natin, which is ito find indexes. Ito yung lalagay tayo dito ng, kasi int yung ginagamit natin, lang naman mag-string tayo, int yun. So natin kalimutan yung array, ito open and close bracket, which is lalagay tayo dito ng r, then comma int number. So lang tayo ng open curly braces, which ano bang purpose ng ito what is the purpose of this? So bakit tayo nag-define of new method, which is itong find indexes, kasi dito sa part na to is dito na tayo maghahanap ng indexes, which is ito value, ito yung gagawin nating code. So after defining a new method, which is define indexes, so kining line is defines a new public static method called ito yung pangalan ng method natin, which is that takes an integer array, or ito yung r and integer number as arguments. So dito is mag-initialize naman tayo ng variable, which is strings indexes yung ilalagay natin. String indexes is equals to, let's say na lang double quotation, and then sa baba lang natin int count 0. Next yung nakalimutan natin yung here. So why did we put string indexes here? Bakit tayo naglalagay nitong code na to? So I will explain that. So this line is initialized to variables, which is ito and int natin, which is ito yung count, which is equal to 0. That count is an integer that will count an occurrence which is sa ating input number. Halimbawa, next naman halimbawa pag nag-enter tayo ng 1 at dito nalabas yung 1 at index 0, 3, and 6. So, ipagpapatuloy na natin ating count. So, here, we need to, gusto kong gagawa ng loop through the array, which is gamit lang tayo ng for loop. Then, gamit tayo ng int variable, which is int I is equals to 0, semicolon, I so dito is this line kay it starts with a loop, which is ito yung for loop natin, which is the loop that iterates through an array. So dito na tayo gumawa ng array. So let's proceed. If an array, let's say I is equals to numbers so what is the purpose of this line? So this line ito yung nag-check if the current element of I, ito yung array natin which is ang I, which is ito I natin to, and then kung nag-matches the input numbers, ito yung purpose ng code na to. So let's proceed. So we will now lalagay na tayo ng halimbawa mag-update the indexes string and count. So lalagay naman tayo dito ng if na naman, if else statement yung gagawin natin dito, which is count is equals to 0 kasi if else, and then let's say indices plus I natin, huwag kalimutan, and then lalagay tayo na, so ito na yun. Dito is we need to put else tapos open curly braces, and then we need to put indexes plus equals. So bakit tayo naglalagay ito? If count system.value plus number, this para mag-good if the current element matches the, like for example, input number, this code updates the indicates, which is dito sa if else statement natin gagamit ito is para if appending the current index I and increment the count variable, which is mag-print para ang useful nitong ginawa nating if else statement is to printing the result, which is ito yung system.out that print ln number not count. So after the loop ends, so pag mag-end na tong loop natin na ginawa natin dito sa itong for loop, which is this code mag-check ito if the count variable is greater than 0. If it is, the code will print the result including the input number and its indexes, which is if the count variable is 0, the code prints the we will be printing the message indicating the number, like for example indicating the number was not found. Dito yon, ito yung mag-print if the variable is 0, the count of variable is 0. So let's run this code na. Java application. So nakalagay dito is enter a number to find dito na. So enter a number to find its indexes. So dapat index yung nakalagay dito, no? So kasi tayo na lang dito. Kaya dito. So let's run this, no? So, nakikita nyo dito sa result is enter a number to find its indexes, which is ito yung nakalagay dito, which is say dito yung nakalagay. Ito yung enter a number to find indexes. So, ito yung ginawa ko kanina. If true, so run muna natin. Ipatuloy muna natin. So, let's say 1. So, dapat yung lalabas dito is dapat yung sinabi ko kanina na magpiprint ay lalabas dito. Ano ba yung duplicate or indexes sa value na 1. So, let's enter. So, ito yun. Tama yun. Value 1 at index 0. Sa index 0, 3, and 6 na nakalagay. So, tama yung nilagay natin dito kanina. Enter a number to find its indexes. So, kasi gumagamit tayo ng while loop dito, which is para mag-continue mag-ask yung program na ano ba yung gusto. Let's say 2. So, the value 2 at index 1 and 4 siya nakalagay. So, let's say 3. So, value 3 at index 2. Ito yung so, that's all for today. We learn some sa ating code.